Hey, Crossroads family, it's Haley here. So I have been reading through the Old Testament. I'm now in Numbers, but God keeps reminding me of a scripture back in Genesis that really stuck with me, and so I feel like it's meant for me to share with you guys. So we all know the story of Joseph, how he was the favorite child of Jacob, and his brothers sold him into slavery, and then he was in prison for years, which opened up an opportunity for God to use his interpretation of dreams to save Egypt and save his people, and to actually reconcile his relationship with his brothers because of the drought that he had provision from the Lord about. So fast forward some years, Jacob and the entire family moved back to Egypt, and they reconcile, and then Jacob ends up passing away, and Joshua's brothers are scared that they're going to get reprimanded for what they did to Joseph so many years ago. And so they actually lie to him and tell him that their father said, take care of them, just forgive them. And so they lie on their face and cry before Joseph, just begging for their forgiveness and that he wouldn't take vengeance on them. And then it just really struck me what he said back to his brothers. And it's in Genesis 50:19-21 says, but Joseph said to them, don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So then, don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children. And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. So when we go through trials and tribulations and suffering and heartache, it's hard to remember the sovereignty of God in those moments sometimes, but we have to always remember that God is sovereign and that he works all things for the good of those who love him. And so it's just a reminder to me that no evil plan of man can stop God from fulfilling his plan and purpose. So even then, God knew when he was going to get sold and how that would reconcile. It was needed because he needed that to happen to fulfill his plan for the Israelites. So just when reflecting back on those tough seasons, or if you're in the middle of one, or if you've already been through one, or if you're not, I'm warning you, one's coming, because we know it will. Just look back and see where God's hand was in that tough season, just like Joseph did with his brothers. That's all I got.